The Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derbies, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, hosts of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to this edition of the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast. Excited to have you along for the ride tonight. You got everything there? Can you see now?
We're good.
Are there things happening?
Yeah,
excellent. Episode number 345 on deck tonight. So glad you could tune in along with us here on FingerLakes1.com. So tonight we're going to be catching up with Casey Smith. Some cool things on the horizon there. Demolition Derby action is not far from starting. We got some stuff happening locally. That's kind of caught me by surprise. I didn't realize that we were so close to Speed World, but we'll get into that a little bit. And we're going to catch up with Mark Elliott towards the end of the show with some new developments for the Unified Point series. So it's going to be a busy show. Probably going to be a pretty fast hour here together with you. So once again, thanks so much for tuning in. Brian has returned, and as everyone was clamoring to know last week, how are things with football?
First practice was tonight. I was kind of happy. I drove around through the parking lot, and they were actually out on the field. They plowed the field finally, and so we were out on the turf for a little while, but then wind chill. All of a sudden, people worry about wind chills. Like, I remember we were kids, and we just ignored that stuff. But, this kinder, gentler.
What was going on with all of the trash cans on the field? Was that something left over from a gym class? Because
the plan was the trash cans were black, therefore they would take in heat and thus emit the heat onto the field and melt the snow.
Okay, all right. Okay. So
that wasn't my plan, but that was what I was told by somebody who was told by a superior person to do that. So it was an effort, I guess. I don't know why they didn't plow it 2 or 3 weeks ago and let it thaw out and drain off. But again, that's above my pay scale. So I'm just happy that we got some football. Like I said, I don't know. It was mid-20s by the time I got there, snowing a little bit, and of course I walk out and there's my kid in shorts and a sweatshirt, and I'm like, really? Well, I thought we were going to practice inside, Dad. So I guess I did start inside, then they ended up going out. So it was good. I definitely missed it. It wasn't a big extravagant practice. Half the teams wrestling, half the teams at basketball. So, but it was good to be at an actual football practice.
So we had something, a phenomenon quite like you described, happen in our backyard. We have these 2 sections of log that we never put away that are situated around our fire pit, and those stuck up above the snow. You know how deep it got, and they absorbed sunlight and they melted the snow around it by about that much, all the way around, and. I don't know how you're going to do a whole football field that way, but...
Like I said, they finally plowed it today, so it was, I could see turf and turf turds, and it was good. I could see some kids doing some football stuff, so I was pretty happy with that.
Awesome. So I don't know why I opened your mic and then fiddled with the sliders and didn't bring them up far enough, so some folks didn't catch the first part of that, but first football practice for Brian was tonight, so he's very excited. But we anticipate the schedule should be like this the rest of the way, so you'll be able to make it on Mondays, or don't really?
I don't know. Coach Thomas is talking about that as things open up more with kids, he wants to go later so we can get out on the turf. The nice thing is we're the only sport going right now outside on the turf, so we should be able to have both JV or varsity and Mod A on the turf. So I hope so. No promises. I mean, once the games start, things are going to be rotating. So I don't know. There's a couple. I think there's 2 Monday games maybe. I'm not really sure. I don't remember offhand, but hopefully we can keep the minimum, missing the shows to a minimum. I mean, I know you're amazing and you do it by yourself, but I enjoy being here. You are Chris Marquardt after all.
Oh man, live chat tonight is busy. Alex Vasco, the Shipley's checking in. Matt Evans, Zach Wessig, he's out there. Lee Sager. Lee's been streaming a little bit later, so he's actually able to tune in for a live show, which is a little
cool.
Unusual for him. I don't think he's seen a live show in years.
Matt Evans, why did I hear your name on the police scanner today? All right, back out of the show.
Richard Walmsley out there. Joey Mitchell, Elijah Hicks, Frankie Guy hanging out. Frankie's out there. Frankie's good buddy Casey Smith hanging out with us in the wings here to talk a little bit about all the happenings there at Smith Metal Works this season. Was working on the equivalent of the dorms for the youth immersive Demolition Derby experience when I talked to him last. How did everything go with that, and where are things for Smith Metal Works right now?
Things are greatly accelerated in all areas. No, we're fortunate to be where we are, and we're really fortunate to be able to do some of the stuff we're bringing to the table. You know, when I spoke to you last, I actually just the cabin's construction for the housing for the youth camp. Everything's on schedule, which is great. I was just there again today just to reinforce that. So, you know, to get into that, it looks like we're going to be releasing the majority of the information about the youth derby camp at our expo. One of the big things will be at the expo, we're going to start taking the registration applications for the camp. And, you know, after this evening, I'm sure we're going to get barraged with messages and requests for information. There has been information that's slowly leaked out about it, and we've got lots of inquiries, you know, enthusiasm, which is great. But we're going to encourage everybody to take it as we're releasing it, just to the amount of work that we have going, and we want to make sure everybody gets all the accurate information at the same time. But we're tentatively planning on limited camp availability just due to this season with prior commitments with some different events and other things. We just can't offer that many of them. So we're looking at one camp per month, May, June, July, August, and most likely September. 6 kids per camp. And we'll get more into the nuts and bolts end of it, you know, during the expo. And this is going to be a whole amazing experience from a pre-vocational preview here at our shop with an area of interest for the kids to on-track driving. Each one of these kids will go home with a minimum of 10 hours in the seat per kid. So it's 3 days. Make no mistake, this is not going to be an easy camp because you're going to be up early. You're going to be getting your money's worth out of it, and you're going to go home knowing that you spent 10 hours in a demolition derby car.
It is Demolition Derby summer camp.
Yeah, how awesome is that?
3 days, immersive. You are learning all aspects of it. And again,
we put together a great program the whole way around, you know, between, you know, feeding the kids also, and I should say young adults too. We've had some other inquiries about what we're going to do at this camp. So it's a 3-day scheduled camp for the intended ages that are going to be 12 to 16. And of course it's open to, you know, young male drivers, young female drivers. Those camps will be scheduled accordingly as needed. Just trying to make sure I'm not missing something here.
Well, I got a bunch of questions and stuff. The live chat is hopping. The big thing was everybody was asking what the age limit was. So, at what point are you going to open this up as a camp for aspiring adults? Because there's a lot of people that are busy making their birth dates much different than what they are on their driver's license to try and get in.
Well, the other thing that we offer with the track is, you know, it's also a test and tune facility where, you know, if you want to if you have your car and you got it built or whatever, and you want to haul it over for a day, and, you know, you just contact us. We work out the details. But somebody brought up a very good point was, if I got, let's say, an 18-year-old that's never ran a demolition derby, or even a 20-year-old, unfortunately, nobody knows what they're in for until that flag drops in the first hit.
Truth.
Fact.
Yeah.
Truth.
So, we've seen people go into this with experiences that were, they were absolutely just amazed and couldn't wait to do it again. And we've had people that realized that maybe that wasn't the sport for them. So we are going to work with people on an individual basis. If you contact us and say, hey, I've never done this, and maybe I want to just get familiar. To give you the three topics that we're going to be teaching the youth in the cars on the track is awareness, control, and accuracy. So this isn't going to start off as a super complex. I mean, you can make something as difficult as you need to, or you can make it basic and simple. And, we're treating this as a basic training program where you're going to learn the essentials of what you need to do on the track. But the key thing is, our devotional part of this program that my wife's putting together, we really want to help kids make the right decisions on and off the track. We use that Proverbs verse for the mission statement behind SMW. Iron shapes iron, one man shapes another. And this is to teach the kids they have an effect as they go through life. And, we're going to use some scripture and some other things to help get that part of the program morning and night. So we're going to make sure we have a nice mix so when these kids show up, we can give them a lot to experience, and they'll have had their fill of driving, I think, by the time they leave. So, but to answer your question, we will open it up to some case-by-case instances. Somebody wants to come spend some time, to get familiar, work on some stuff. We're going to be having some guest help, some top drivers that are going to come to each camp, spend some time, just to talk to the kids and other things. So it's going to be a great experience.
That's awesome. We're getting a little ways down the rabbit hole on the camp side of things, overlooking the big news with the Smith Metalworks open house, the expo that's going to be presented in conjunction with Hardcore Derby Productions. Around here locally this weekend is Finger Lakes Speed World. So the JMW RC Derby National Championships from 2020, which have been delayed in perpetuity because of the COVID stuff, that's going to be happening this weekend, and they're going to have the national division of the truck class. That's all going to be at Speed World. Jamie Davis is going to be overseeing the legs of that for Ed Brewster as he continues to recover at home. Also, some news coming out. I don't know how close you've been following with Motorsports Expo, the Syracuse Motorsports Expo at the Center of Progress building. That's off the schedule, been pushed to 2022. So now we've lost two of those. I'm looking forward to that getting back in. Pennsylvania, a little bit different situation, a little bit different atmosphere, a little bit different package as a whole. It's not quite the same as the Center of Progress building at Smith Metalworks, but what they're doing, being so derby-centric, is awesome. Talked a little bit with Frankie Guy about it. There's going to be vendors. It's going to be it's the next level of Expo. Tell us a little bit more of some of the details and what people can expect when they get down there April 9th and 10th for the Expo at Smith Metalworks.
Yeah, just to go over the schedule real quick, we have it as the 9th and 10th. The 9th is primarily vendor setup, and then we have an exhibitor/vendor reception that evening, to take care of some things, business we need to with all the attending vendors and so forth and promoters. So the everybody that wants to come as far as the attendees, the 10th is the day, Saturday the 10th. The doors open at 9 o'clock in the morning, okay? We, due to, obviously COVID and everything, we are having inside and outside things. That's why we moved it to April, okay? We have specifically broke up booth spaces for everybody for spacing and distancing and whatnot. But, just to keep everybody a little reassured that we're doing that as far as, following proper guidelines. But going to the day's events, the doors open Saturday, and we got a separate seminar area set up where we're going to cover some different sessions, which is 10 to 10:30, advantages from behind the steering wheel by JEFFY'S FAB Farm, which he's got a whole plan there to talk about. 10:45 to 11:15, we're going to talk about the what and why of rear differentials and transmissions, placement of transmission coolers, some other things. 11:15 to 12:30, we left that open so people can mingle inside, outside, see the things they want to, grab some lunch from a vendor that'll be set up here. 12:30 to 1 o'clock, we got Coke Performance. Jason Coke will be doing a topic on some carburation things, so you won't want to miss that. It's called Throttle for Destruction. 1:15 to 1:45, we have Winning Engine Basics by Brent Johnson, Redline Performance Machine. 1:45 to 2:45, Stir and Dirt and Gladiators of Steel will be the documentary preview. The Unified Point Series will be covered by Mark Elliott. We have him scheduled from 2:45 to 3:15, and he'll be covering everything for the upcoming season, that he can with everybody there. He'll also be there throughout the day to talk to people about that. 3:30 to 4 at that area. You have the Watch Link Installation and Product Spotlight by Vince Livius by Toast Inc. Okay? And then 4:30 to 5 o'clock-ish on, we're going to do the youth camp overview, etc. And I'll try to cover all that on the scheduled sessions. But in the main expo area, them areas will be open all day. So people can split up and pick and choose where they need to be when they want to be. Also, not to overlook anybody, Track Shot Live will be there streaming all day and doing a lot of stuff. As far as promoters, Hardcore, Smash It, Derby Dog, we got Iron City Promotions, Spinning Wheels, Dead Man Derby, Stir and Dirt, and Toast Promotions will be the promoters that will all be in-house. So that's, I believe, 8 promoters.
It's pretty awesome.
For one roof. As far as vendors, obviously us, All For Him Racing Videos, JEFFY'S FAB Farm. Jeff Showman will be here in full force with all his great products. We have Blades Original Steel Supply, mainly carrying cage material out of Michigan. Most Wanted Fine Art, Jason Sowers will be doing a great art opening. In conjunction with that, we have Jagoff, Pittsburgh's #1 podcast in the morning, will be here doing some interviews with Jason and also interviewing 4 specific guests. They also are linked. They have a KDK, a radio app that they're linked directly with. I think 4 or 5 years ago, they were voted #1 podcast in Pittsburgh. So that's a pretty amazing thing that they're coming here.
Very nice.
We have, obviously, ME527 Unified Point Series. Indiana Auto Salvage will be here buying some cores. Demolition Derby Life Magazine, Lexi Droz and her family will be here. I think we all know she does a phenomenal job as far as what she does in Keller and print, covering a lot of local drivers.
Absolutely.
We got Toast Inc. will be here. Toast will be here not only as a promoter, but double duty with selling some products and spotlighting some products. Making a long trip, we welcome him. Coke Performance, Jason Coke making a trip, and Prodigy Gaming and the Realistic Derby project to round that out. So pretty amazing that they're going to be here. If you need to get your hands on this game and try it out, that'll be a great time. So I believe that went over well the other week up in New York. So
sure did.
And I'm sure I know some of our products are in there now, and it's got to be one of the most amazing things that I've seen in a long time, and it reaches a great new demographic for Demolition Derby. I had this discussion the other night with Lee, and I never thought that we would see our products on a video game. How's that?
Right?
I never thought we'd be doing any of the stuff we're discussing right now. But, it's amazing how things work, and we're just really looking forward to this model really being able to bring some new stuff to the Derby world.
I think the whole thing is just so cool. You know, and I don't think that we're wrong in saying that this is the next level of some of the different gatherings that we've seen around here in New York. You know, we've seen Speed World, which is cool, and we've seen the mall shows. Like Arnott Mall is that show's coming up for Outlaw Speedway, and this is more in line with what we see at the Northeast Racing Products Trade Show in Syracuse in the fall, and the Syracuse Expo in March. It is really, really cool what this has come to be.
Yeah, definitely. And that's, you know, hopefully some other people take notice outside of Derby, so we can get some more people to support it. I mean, you know, you see all these products that, you know, Advanced Auto Parts and places like that, you know, are dumping all this money into motorsports, and, you know, they kind of forget them. Well, I don't think they actually think of us. It's not that they forget about us, but, you know,
it's hard to be overlooked when you're not considered to begin with, right?
Yeah, that's exactly, and that's the frustrating part. But I mean, that's, you know, this is the stuff we're going to have to do to try to get those people to notice.
Do you remember sitting at the table with the calculator up on the computer and figuring out how much money would go across the track in Topeka?
Oh yeah,
and we were in, like, I think one of the numbers that we came up with, when you figure engines and shells and you start factoring in tires, and we're talking like 2.4 mil.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding us, team drivers. That's an amazing point, you know, and it is overlooked that, you know, when you know, at all levels. I mean, even at a local level, when a guy makes the investment and fill out an entry form, the car and the money he puts in just to show up and compete locally versus, you know, leaving his county, going to the state over. It's like any other motorsport, and you can compete at a level that's comfortable, or you can get to the top tier. And this, you know, one of my motives behind this is to get some attention by this kind of event. Make no mistake.
And that's something, you know, it's definitely a good thing. I mean, we gotta, you know, we have to find a way to get more money into the purses, to help the drivers, to help the builders. You know, obviously that helps promoters as well. But I mean, that's, you know, we need to find a way. I mean, it's, you know, Demolition Derby is bigger than it's ever been, and you know, we have to find a way to take advantage of that, and to help the drivers, to help the builders, to help the people that have, you know, that have worked so hard, you know, Smith Metal Works, people like that have helped, you know, put so much time and effort and, you know, their own money in to make things successful. You know, last week, Brett having the gathering because, you know, unfortunately the Ellisons couldn't. I mean, you know, so many people are stepping up, and it's something great to see. There's got to be a thing of gold at the end of the rainbow, and hopefully you find it sooner than later. Because I mean, it's you know, there's a lot of good things that can happen, you know, both ways in that.
Yes, big time. And the sport has to stop being so cannibalistic. You know, somebody sees this going on and they turn around, and the instant thought is to support it, and then within a year they go or something, they start just trying to pull the thing down. It's like, stop ripping down the good stuff.
Yeah.
And going back to our promoter list, you know, we don't put out a national invitation to open this up to every avenue of Demolition Derby. I mean, we unfortunately currently only have so much space that we can use for an event right now at this time in our communities, but we welcome any major promoter from the U.S. to attend. Because if you look at our promoter list, the 8 major promoters in the Northeast, and you know, we're targeting kind of the demographic of the Northeast to an extent, but we got a lot of people from out west, and I believe the Delara family is attending from L.A.
Awesome.
And I know I'm going to miss somebody. I know I probably already did, but if I did, I hope everybody's understanding with everything that I'm trying to keep together here. But
TJ's coming up, right? Dead Man?
Yes. So, like I said, Dead Man, he's on the promoter list. He'll be there. They'll have their, you know, their amazing apparel. He'll be there to talk about the shows, maybe some of the new twists they put into their upcoming, you know, productions. He's definitely a creative guy with some, I guess most people would say, unorthodox style Demolition Derby. But let me tell you, the people in the crowd loves what he does, and I think he's going with his own kind of direction, and it's working. He's had some, a successful event. I think his next one's soon to happen there at the end of April. So just that's what this is about, trying to make sure. A year ago, we had this event March, right when the COVID stuff broke out. And, Ron McClung was here. They were closing the border to Canada. He was unaware if he was going to be able to get home. I will say to date, to my knowledge, with all the people that attended, we never got any word that was negative of what the event we had. A year later, we moved it out to April. We see a lot of things that are, going back towards a positive direction. By the time this date gets here, it looks like even more so out into the communities and the public. Everything else should be going positively. So we fully look forward to having this year, and it's definitely going to be a great time. And all the information is listed on our Expo tab at smithmetalworks.info. So best way to find the information, or message us if you need any additional info.
So off topic just a little bit, but still about Smith Metalworks. This time of year, are you guys getting a lot of orders for the upcoming season, or are you able to build up a little bit of inventory?
We're actually in the process of building some inventory. I was out on a 2-week vacation. Chance he stayed behind and then come down with the rest of the family. So we kind of missed us personally missed the gathering, but we made sure that we had representatives there with our truck with product.
Nice.
Because the New York customer base and Demolition Derby World has been great, and love them, all you guys. So, but we are in the process of building a lot of inventory. Right now, I think I got 2 welders back there that'll be here till 9 or 10 o'clock tonight. So, we're gearing up for the Expo. We're also trying to get better at having available product to ship. I've been working very hard on, with vendors and with steel pricing. I really don't know if everybody out there in the derby world has experienced this yet, but if you went and bought a piece of steel in the past 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you've experienced something new.
Yeah.
The costs have went up. I will say that a week ago we had to pop our prices up due to some influx of some stuff. We got some things leveled out. We brought the pricing back down. So any vendor out there, I'll tell everybody, wherever you buy steel locally, we still buy American-made steel, and that is predominantly what we build our products out of, and I am going to do that as long as I buy steel.
Good thing to hear.
I got a question in live chat. What's the workload like? Do you need any help with welders?
Not currently. It's being able to keep everything in front of everybody and keeping it going. But right now, we're pretty much okay. Subject change.
Never hurts to ask.
Never hurts to ask.
No, I can't. Live chat is hopping tonight. It is busy. We got Scott Kiefer sending in some stars. Scott Brown had a birthday. Eric Remington suffering a little bit of loss in his life. We're thinking of him. The
legendary demolition derby driver from Chemung, New York, Betty Benjamin. It's her birthday. Happy birthday, Betty.
Oh, really? Happy birthday to her. Yeah, this expo's crazy.
I would love to go, but I'm pretty sure. I think we have a game. I think we have a game the 10th.
Well, the good news is if you can't make it, a lot of it's going to be live streamed and also recorded for playback. So.
Sure. It's probably better for me not being there because it's probably a lot cheaper to watch it on live stream than it would be if I went down there. I got money in my pocket. It's kind of burning a hole, so I may come home with stuff.
I'll make one statement. We cannot ship via live stream. So products from Jeffy's Fab Farm or any other vendors cannot be shipped via live stream.
That's safe for me because I got some stuff I'm looking at,
But I did want to interject one quick thing going back to, vendors out there supporting the Demolition Derby Parts world. you know, if you see a vendor that's, you know, changed his pricing, or you see stuff that looks like, oh my gosh, that's changed a lot, keep in mind, and I'm sure I'm going to speak on behalf of a lot of people in the fabrication business. Just because the prices have changed does not mean necessarily anybody is necessarily making any more money than they were last week or 2 weeks. It's really just combating this influx of you know, the steel jumps. So, and it's been high. So, just be sensitive to us people in fabrication and steelworks when you see what's been adjusted and where it's going. We're all doing our best to keep things affordable.
And Demolition Derby, when you think about it as an economic being, is almost fully self-sufficient. When you look at the sponsors, it's money that's coming from within the sport that's going to sponsor the sport. It's not outside sources a lot of times. So when you see those prices change, they're not doing it on purpose. I'm hoping that, like all things, that as it comes up, it's going to go back down. But my concern is in a capitalist economy, if everything is being sold at this price, there's no reason to bring it down.
You know, I would think a lot of derby guys are also in the haul and junk business. You know, I mean, junking cars, junking parts. So, you know, I know around here the prices have been good, creeping in on excellent. So, I mean, they should realize that, hey, if they're paying this much for scrap, then, you know, it's going out the other end and it's going to be more expensive. So, you know, I would think that, you know, derby builders and drivers are a little more understanding because, you know, they deal with this stuff more often. So
we haven't raised our, you know, we haven't had a price increase on anything. I mean, we really have kept the same pricing for the past 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
So, but we work constantly on improving internal processes, making changes so we can, you know, try to combat that to our customers. But we'll continue to do that.
Very cool.
So for Friday night, the 9th, that is Rolling Day. Saturday, all day. The 10th is the anchor of the expo down there at Smith Metal Works. It's gonna be quite the gathering. Jump online, smithmetalworks.info. Just follow the expo tab. It'll get you all the information, the directions, everything you need.
Lodging, etc.
Everything. Cool. It is a one-stop shop. All the information you need, just hit that tab. It'll put you
yeah, and if we don't have the stuff you're looking for, there's going to be people here that do. So
very cool.
It's going to be another one of those events where if you bring enough money, you can build a car that day.
Absolutely.
You never know. You might even be able to buy one that day. You don't know what's going to be here. But I do believe that you will get to see the house cars, or a good slot of them that will be at the track for Smith Metal Works camp.
Cool.
Awesome. I like that. I like what you're doing with that too. Casey, I anticipate we'll probably be having you on again here before too long to talk about the gathering once more. Excuse me, not the gathering, the expo one more time, and then for sure in the spring once you get your first class of youth drivers in for camp. I look forward to that.
Yep. Good enough, guys. Enjoy your evening.
Have a good one.
I appreciate you coming on, Casey. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Casey Smith. A lot of information unpacked there, but
that's crazy.
How, you know, remember how cool it was when the tire changing competition came to Syracuse, and then it got to a point where you could just walk around there, and if you didn't buy a used turnkey car, you could go buy everything you needed to put one together.
Yep,
we're there.
Yeah. You know, talking about the driving school, it took me back. I don't know if you're old enough to remember, but Bob McCready used to have a driving school at Weedsport.
He sure did,
and that was always cool. They always helped a lot of guys out, and so it's neat to see these guys, you know, give them back. And I mean, you know, you listen to Casey and you can tell that he has a passion, not only for the sport, but for the youth of the sport and bringing them in and helping them to become better builders and drivers. So, you know, guys like that supporting the sport, it's, you know, it's only going up. What are you giggling about?
Everybody in the live chat acknowledging the train's arrival.
Yeah, the train is pretty close. The nice thing is we're at a nuclear fallout building, so chances are it won't fall over to the train.
You know, the whole thing about the nuclear fallout building is I wonder how much that's just a placard and how much that is actually something. Because when the train goes by, it shakes the building.
It does. I think all it is probably a little bit more concrete poured around the exterior.
There's just some pretty seriously thick walls behind us. But
yeah.
It still shakes the whole building. Finger Lakes Railroad running about a half hour late from where they usually are.
Yeah, you should try having a football practice when that goes by within a football's throw of your practice field, especially when it's youth football.
You talking about over at Lafayette?
Yeah, those kids are distracted by things like butterflies and dandelions and the such, and a big choo-choo train goes by. It's it's a blast.
I understand. I apologize for. Why did they build everything so close? The railroad tracks, I don't know what was there first, but they decided to put them right next to each other in a lot of cases.
Well, they built it close, so you wouldn't have to go far to put stuff on the tracks.
Yeah, it's for the old Mott's building, right?
Yeah, I would assume.
All-purpose fabrication shop, Smith Metal Works, smithmetalworks.info. Follow the tab. You can find out more about the expo that's coming up April 9th and 10th. They do everything that you could possibly need for a demolition derby car. Smith Metal Works features more than 40 years of combined metalworking experience. You have the anchor of the product line, the pointed, the flat front bumpers, and that super stock front bumper. They all replicate popular factory releases. You look at it, you can tell exactly what I'm talking about. They can be stuffed, ran hollow. There's a compact version of the pointed bumper as well. Other items include Crown Victor skins, battery boxes, engine mounting systems, pedal combos, and shifters. The shop offers all the odds and ends, such as distributor clamps and welding centers. Be sure to ask about the GM floor liners. There's locations in Mercer, Uniontown, and Bethlehem, or jump online and order. You can pick everything up that you order after you tax time baller. You can pick it up April 9th and 10th if you get your stuff done ahead of time. I'm very happy to put this up for the first time in the spring. Bash for Cash 2021, May 28th to 30th. Online, smashitderby.com. The agenda's out there. The payouts out there. 4 classes, paying $10,000 to win. Amazing. We're going to be diving into that with Tim here a little bit further. The agenda at this point looks like this. Friday the 28th at 7 o'clock is the compact heats, the $2,000 to win youth class, the mini trucks, and the $10,000 to win street stocks take flight, plus the full-size trucks. The Power Wheels will go off at 3 o'clock on Saturday the 29th, and the compact consi, the heats for the pro stocks, standalones for the kicker cars, the relics, and the Frank the Tank classes will all be there as well. Sunday, Championship Sunday. They're giving out money all weekend long, but Championship Sunday nonetheless. The 30th at 11 o'clock, the Pro Stock Kicker and Turn Back the Clock consolation rounds. And then at 1 o'clock, everything else goes off. The Smith Metal Works Youth Full Size, the Modifieds, 80s Wire Heats, the Super Stock, and all of the remaining features go off at 4:15. Online, smashitderby.com. That has been a slide I have been itching to get out there for everybody. Very excited that is at least today.
It's on.
Happen. It's supposed to happen right now.
I think we'll be safe. I think we'll be good.
Matt Evans is going to be at his house in 15 minutes, so must be that whole deal you heard on the radio wasn't as
It was earlier today.
Oh, okay. Did you hear about Jeff Schumann checking in? He's looking forward to it. Did you hear about the guys that got arrested in Waterloo today? They stole 3 cars from over on Washington Street and then dismantled them.
Yeah, wasn't today? Like the arrest wasn't today. It was a couple days ago, I think.
Was it?
Yeah, but it happened in October or something, right?
I don't know. I was very surprised by it. I thought wow, there's a chop shop in Waterloo. I hope they didn't wreck any Camrys.
I saw that it said that they'd stolen them and destroyed them. So I didn't know exactly what that meant. I didn't know if they went and played Demolition Derby with them somewhere or what. But
it's there might be people that we could hang out with. Once they get their lives together and quit stealing things.
Well, the one name has been in my fine facility a few times, so that one didn't surprise me.
I didn't catch any of the names.
Yeah, one was from Geneva, and there was 2 youth with him, so their names weren't out.
No Mercy scheduled for April 23rd and 24th, 2021. Deadman Derby Productions in charge of that one. Friday night, the 23rd, 3-man compact heats, 80s pro stock heats, half-ton trucks and SUVs on the line there. Then Saturday, all the last chance events and all the one-and-dones, all the features, all the big money being paid out. Youth Compact Division paying $800 to win. The Imperials are $2,000 to win. Minivan, truck, and mini SUV, $1,200 to win. Full-size team one and done, the Deadman Compacts, the 70s and 80s Pro Stocks, paying $8,000 to win. 3-man compact team feature is $6,000 to win. The full-size Mercenaries, and that's a one and done, $3,000 to win there. The Deadman Derby info can be found at deadmanderby.com. They are going to be at the Smith Metal Works Expo as well. Special Demolition Derby has Street Stock Madness coming up June the 5th and the 6th online. You can find more details there. Smash It Derby. Gates at noon on the 5th, Derby at 6, Gates at noon on the 6th, Derby at 3. 4-man teams, they're taking 20 teams, 6,000, 3,000, 1,600 payback through the top 3. Pro Stocks, taking 40 entries there, 4,000, 2,000, 1,000 back through the top 3. Full-size Street Stock, compact Street Stock, minivan, mini SUV, mini trucks, all doing one and done's, 30 entries per class, 1,000 to win each one there. Jeffy's Fab Farm. Jeffy, he's tuned in, and Matt Evans. You're not going to see his name listed any place.
Good.
Jeffy's Fab Farm is an industry leader in all manner of fabrication needs, but we know that they got all their derby cred when they just started. Jeffy just started wanting making some stacks for some buddies. LS conversions are all over the place for Jeffy's Fab Farm. You get a chance to meet up with Jeffy when he makes the trip up into Pennsylvania for the Expo. This summer, they released that Camry in a box deal, and they went from having 10 in stock to negative 25 almost immediately. Continuing to push the envelope in terms of fabrication and finding new ways to make stuff and collaborating with other manufacturers to just make things easier, make things more simple. Fewer parts means faster turnaround. Faster turnaround means more parts in people's hands, and of course fewer parts always means more places for it to go wrong. So Jeffy's Fab Farm, staying ahead of the curve online, jeffysfabfarm.com. We know Frankie Guy's checking in. He's watching. He was waiting for this one to come up. His season is going to be kicking off in a little over 2 months. If you can believe that. May the 15th is the main meltdown in Stoneboro, Pennsylvania. And then they take a month off before Destruction on the Knob in Markleysburg on June the 12th. And then 2 weeks later is Mayhem on the Mountain in Farmington. July the 10th kicks off the busy summer. 3 derbies scheduled through July. Destruction on the Knob in Markleysburg, King of the Hill at Jacktown Fair, and then Destruction in Dunbar, July 29th, 3rd, and the 6th in Dunbar, Pennsylvania. This all will feed into the 2021 Hardcore Championships, featuring a Jeffy's Fab Farm $3,000 Mad Dog Award and $10,000 to win at the final confrontation in Dunbar, Pennsylvania. That's scheduled for September 25th and 26th. Stay up to date online, hardcorederbypromotions.com. And then rounding it out here, we are little over a month away from the next event on the ME527 Unified Point Series. Wicked Derby was the first event on the schedule there. They had the Redneck Rumble of January the 30th, and now we're looking ahead to the Granite City event in Sauk Rapids, Minnesota for Toast. And then later in the month, 24th and 25th, is Derby Icon Spring Explosion in Portland, Indiana. And April 30th and May 1st is Wiccan's Urban Destruction in Evansville, Indiana. And then it just breaks loose from there. I think there's only 2 or 3 weekends open between now and, say, like the end of October. The schedule for Mark Elliott is absolutely insane. But I'm glad he's putting the time in to make this one happen. It's already ahead of where it was last year and gaining all kinds of crazy momentum. So congratulations out to him. We do have to get with him in a moment here because he's got some stuff that we got to touch on here. Live chat settled down a little bit. Everybody's probably cruising Smith Photoworks page, finding out what. I just got a note. Oh, how about that? Mark is waiting in Zoom right now, so I need to reorganize here.
Chris is getting after it. This is why Chris gets the big dollars, because he can do stuff like this on the fly.
What I didn't do was I didn't go back to that meeting link when we were talking before, so I've got to get that. I gotta get this done first. What I got to do? We'll get that straight. Talk amongst yourselves.
So, I believe BMP opens up next week. Mm-hmm. So that'll be the first Northeast Derby of the year. I've heard rumors of possibly a new promoter in Canandaigua / Ontario County Fair. Don't know if it's gone through yet or not. What else is going on that's new and exciting?
What did you?
Possibly a new promoter, Ontario County Fairgrounds.
For the Derby?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. I believe I saw today, or maybe it was last night, that Spinning Wheels has their full schedule out, and it's basically their typical schedule from, say, 2019, except they've added a few shows at, I think it's Bethel Motor Speedway. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Down near, down towards Jeremy.
I'm going to do this.
What else is going on in the Derby world? I heard everything was a good turnout down for the gathering. Talked to Brett a little bit before and a little bit after, and he said things went well.
Mark, I'm sending you a new link to that. If you're listening, here's a new link right there. Let's use that right there, and I'll be watching for you. So you were saying?
Nothing. Waiting on you.
Go on. I don't want to cut you off. I gotta wait
No,
for Mark
I
to
was
show up.
running out of stuff to say. Melissa Marquardt had a birthday.
Yes, she did. I appreciate that, man. There was like 100 messages on that post on Facebook.
Happy birthday to Melissa.
That was very cool.
I mean, but what could you get her? I mean, she's married to Chris Marquardt. What more could that woman possibly need for her birthday?
What could that woman need? A good divorce lawyer.
Oh, she'd take the Newport, right?
Yes, she would. She would definitely. That thing is covered in a lot of snow, and our roof shed a bunch of the buildup that is stacked up, and we've taken the aluminum blinds off of the south side of the house, and there was this tremendous crash, and I thought for sure all that snow had crashed right through the side post of the car, but everything was fine. Did
you see the thing on Facebook where it showed a guy in Alaska sort of shoveling like 4 foot of snow off the roof of his house?
No.
It was insane. At that moment, I realized that I'm glad I live in New York, because I would not want to have to do that. Though we had a cool looking shovel thing on the roof of them, but
that's cool. So I'm trying to get Mark in here. I didn't even think about the Zoom meeting side of things. So I was talking with Casey. We were doing it by phone.
Let's talk to your tech guy after the show.
If we get in a jam here too far, or it's not, for whatever reason, it's not letting him pop in for us, I'm just going to go ahead and give him a call, and we'll go that route. I mean, I really hope everything goes the way that it looks like it's going to go, and we have a ultra busy 2021, because it is shaping up to be a good year.
Yeah, I stand by my prediction. I think by Memorial Day, everything is going to be wide open and going.
All right. Perfect. Hopefully this goes right. And speaker view. Pull Mark down. All right. Mark, man, how are you? Can you hear us? Mark's glitching and flipping. It looks like he's in a flip book. I don't know if he can hear us.
If you can hear us, tap twice.
I think we got Mark now. Mark, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing okay. Appreciate you coming on and sticking with us as we fought the current a little bit here. I was getting everything situated with Casey, and ended up. I wonder why that froze like that.
Oh yeah, you can see the other one behind him.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. It's
What do you got? What are you seeing right now?
I got you fine. It's just flip booking real bad. So I'm gonna leave you on the audio, and we'll worry about the rest. We're good. We got you in here, and you're getting ready to make the trip out to the expo with Smith Metalworks, and you're, let's see, a little over a month away from getting back on the road. How excited are you for what 2021 has to offer?
Who is Josh Durso?
That is one of the guys here at Finger Lakes 1. When you said that you were waiting in the Zoom meeting, I would have had to log into my school account, and I couldn't get logged into my school account, and so I just pulled up the one that was here quick to try and make a meeting.
You are a beast. Ain't he, Brian? Like, I threw that on him, and he wasn't prepared, and somehow he's got it. I'm looking at somebody named Josh. I can't see you guys, but
no.
as long as you can see me, I guess we're good to go.
We got you here. How did you ever imagine that anything like this expo thing was going to come along for Demolition Derby when you were starting to break into the announcing world?
Oh, I'm glad you started with that. Holy crap. Shout out to Casey. Man, Marm Hair was standing up more than once during that. Just, can you imagine being a kid and getting to go and do something like that?
It's crazy. I mean, I'm very happy for where the sport is right now. Getting that opportunity, I think it's going to help anchor that seems to be a weak point, a concern point for a lot of people. It's like, where's the next crop of drivers going to come from? And I think it's going to really pull a lot of people in. I think it's going to work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Something that he's been talking about for a long time. So to see him, putting something like that into action, you can never be fully prepared. So whether you're starting a youth camp or buying a house or whatever you're doing, I mean, sometimes you just got to press play. And I love that he's doing that this year. I think he's in for it. I think it's going to take him along for the ride. Like Unified Point Series has drug us down the dirt path, and the expo, it was nothing short of twice, I think, what he probably expected last year. And just to hear him talk about that itinerary, and he's naming off names and he's apologizing for maybe forgetting somebody. Like he's going to be a wreck on April the 10th. And I'm super thankful of a supportive wife that is going to maybe even come with me. I don't know, but definitely be okay with me going there, because that following weekend's when the crap gets real for us. So
Right.
Thankful that our schedule works out so we can be there to support Casey and help him kind of facilitate the day as far as making announcements and stuff like that.
Mark's going to Pennsylvania on the 10th and going to Minnesota the next weekend.
Cover the country.
Dude, when you say it like that, I got enough anxiety about it. Most people are like, man, I don't know how you do it, or you're crazy, or like, I don't disagree with any of that. I have no idea how we're going to do it, but it's happening. And there was some good announcements in Ohio this week towards the positive side for county fairs. I said on numerous occasions last year that was a big variable in the point series, and not that I believe it would have been any different. I'm not trying to say that, but I do think it was a variable for different drivers when probably 40% of the schedule is county fairs. Mm-hmm. When you took those off last year, I think adding those in this year, I just think that changes a lot, because I know what happens to somebody if they come to my county fair, and I think that's the same story from here to California. County fair, there's a lot of bragging rights, a lot of ego, and good luck to people chasing points that's going to go on somebody's home turf like that and try to score.
Get rid of the outsiders first, right?
That's the way it works.
I think it's like that everywhere. I would only imagine so.
We saw a little bit of that, some of that. I don't know if it's fair to call it. I don't know. Towards the end of the point series, people were counting points. Leave it at that.
Good save, yeah. But you're right that it really does happen. People are protective, and most derby drivers, we're alpha. Whether we're walking into a bar, we're pulling in the derby track. We're taller and we're bigger, and we try to protect what we believe in. So I just think that's a reality that no matter what you start or a part of, you're going to see that in Demolition Derby.
Some folks, Ken Owen asking in the live chat, what's the better day to go? Casey said in this thing, the 9th is like a setup day.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I keep saying the 9th and the 10th. That is for, there's some vendor type meetings that are happening on the 9th. It's a setup day. So vendors with stuff to set up should get there a day or so early to get their stuff set up at that expo. And then on the 10th, that is the formal show. So you're just going as a fan, as a potential buyer, wondering what's going on. You're going to want to go on the 10th. You don't have to worry about making it there for the 9th. So the county fairs are back on. That's some good news. That was one of the topics that was out there when I was talking with Tim the other day. And just
Yeah.
do you try to start looking at racetracks? Do you try to go with county fairs? What's the best move to make? And I'm glad that it sounds like those are going to be back in there, because those events really were offering some wild cards, and it wasn't just the other problem with when you're handing out the points on a big scale like this, and you've got these big shows. there might not be any more tickets available. You know, you decide in May that I'm going to make a run at some of these shows, but by then you might not even be able to get a ticket. You saw the wheeling dealing going online with people trying to beg, borrow, and steal their way into some of these shows in order to record the points, and it worked for some and it didn't work for others.
True.
So I think that county fair will offer a little bit of an equalizer, and it keeps it back to the roots too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it too. Is what the Unified Point Series stands for. Is it separates the okay promoters from the good promoters from the great promoters, and puts out there the opportunity for the okay promoters and the good promoters to see what a great promoter does, and it showcases that, and it helps bring the level up, and that's what Mark's always been about anyway. I mean, he's preached that a number of different times. So just trying to help make the sport better and use an example to show where things could be when the right people do the right things. And he told me a story about one time where the wrong people were doing the wrong things. And he went through and tried to make sure that it was taken care of and lessons be learned, you know?
Sometimes that happens.
Marion, Indiana. Ugh. That was a scary night. That was a scary night just all around. And, you know, it wasn't the greatest part. You know, that's a lesson I learned in the first year where, you know, when you just start allowing, you put a lot of trust into your friends and you know, you talked about the county fairs, you know, you never really know what part you're getting into. You know, it could be some county fairs are seem like more inner city, and some of them are out in some pretty sketchy places. And you know, a lot of these promoters, you mentioned Tim, you know, a lot of these promoters have some pretty big powerhouse shows, and then they have a county fair schedule as well. And you know, as an announcer, I love the county fair, the atmosphere, the crowd, those guys that don't get out and they're there and they've got their whole family there and the crowd's cheering. I mean, from my seat, from my job, which I do have to remember to make important for me, is just that I'm still having fun. The county fairs, man, you talk about a rowdy crowd, and sometimes that rowdy's not exactly my kind of rowdy. And, you know, we got to make decisions no different than a national level type show, or however you want to frame that. We have to give people chances, and then we have to make decisions when it's not a good fit or it's not a good look for the series or the sport, really is what's important to us. Then we just got to make those decisions as they come. And so far we've only had, you know, a couple that, maybe even one that really we just wouldn't go back to. So this schedule is true. I think we closed it out last night at midnight. I think we're at 38 shows. I could have miscounted. I don't know. I think that's 10 different states. I do know that shout out to Todd Sorensen with TNT up in Michigan. He had a show on last year. He did not get to have it. He stayed in as a bronze sponsor. You know, he paid his dues. And he came back again this year and wanted to have another show. But when we opened it up for a month, he asked for more, and he's up to a gold sponsor. He has 4 shows in the series right now. So that little month extension that we did, it did pay off for 3 more shows in Michigan. And I know that those local drivers are excited about that. My excitement with that is hopefully their excitement turns into points that turns into bringing them out of Michigan into somewhere else, that they're just going to gain more friends, more Derby family, and new experiences, and maybe who knows, maybe they're in the chase. You know,
the nice thing with you for going to Minnesota in April, chances are, I mean, they should be out of the deep freeze. That might be up to like 20, 25 degrees when you're there. So, you know, that won't be too bad for you.
Yeah, Tixie, he's always every video he has, it looks like he may have frostbite. You know what I mean? Like it I don't know what April's like in Minnesota, but we're about ready to check that box. I'm super excited about that. I saw that Iron City, you know, I think they're like our 28th show, but I saw they opened up their registration today for their big money $10,000 class. And you mentioned it, Chris, you know, there's a 60 car max, and one of our heavy chasers last year. That's Santel won that Derby last year.
Yep.
So, if guys, chances are guys that are going to be chasing points on show 28 have no idea that they would even be interested in that now. It's not until they kind of score for a second time, and then they're looking at the schedule, and then you got your guys that really do plan to, and they're driven, and they're going to go to as many shows as you can. So really just depends on who has a good success and a little bit of luck. And Minnesota, I would love nothing more than a Minnesota driver to score points and then sign up for Metal Mayhem and come to Portland, Indiana the following weekend, or Urban Destruction or River City Rampage is right around the corner. All those shows have spots open. So
Sure.
To me, those are opportunities that once they pass, they're gone. And if you talk to Don Santel or John Shipley or Jeremy Riley, guys that fought it out tooth and nail at the end, if you would have told them, and I'm arm hair standing up, but if you would have told them at the end of the season, how would you like one more chance to score points? Those guys didn't even run the first few shows. Riley did, but the other two didn't. And man, I guarantee if they could just go back, like, why didn't I run there? So, these first few shows, they could be the jump start for somebody to get out on a run and then feed off that pressure and have the best season that they've ever had, because that's what we witnessed last year.
Yep.
Guys that embraced that pressure and just ran with it.
So real quick to circle back, you were talking about the county fair shows on the schedule. I was noticing that Ruts Fab, the 26th and the 30th of July, that's Butler County and Hamilton, Ohio. That's a couple more of those county fair shows that you were talking to. Those guys are going to be at the expo as well. So Ruts Fabrication
Yeah.
going to be at Smith Metalworks too. Hopefully they're still tuned in and they heard us make mention of that, because we wanted to make sure that we let everybody know that whatever might help draw more people to Smith Metalworks.
Absolutely.
There's Chris. That's a great family. We'll just say that that's a great family.
Yeah.
Gordon's dad, John, is a legend from where I'm from, and I know he used to run a lot of wagons and hasn't had one. He's been doing the mini car thing with his sons, but.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a few weeks ago that he scored a wagon somewhere, and that's exciting. And I saw that Brendan Wisman won a waffle wagon a week or so ago, and he's never ran anything but the street stocks where you don't even change the engine. That's exciting for the sport. That's people progressing through the sport. Jordan, like Ruts Fab, they continue to put themselves in new places, which is new opportunities. And now Jordan's mom, Brandy, she's got some type of Derby girl. Look it up, and she's making some gnarly cups. I know it seems like a lot of people's making those tumbler cups these days. Mm-hmm. I can promise you, I've never seen any like she's gonna kill me, but I think it's Derby girl. Look her up. Find Jordan and find his mom Brandy, and they're making some awesome cups and shirts, and just the whole family's just infested with Derby. That's just one story, man. I got fired up listening to Casey and just talking about the sport, and Brian was talking about, and you even mentioned how we kind of work against each other sometimes, or maybe we support something for a little while and then we start tearing it down. Like I tell people on the regular, man, if I was ever to have to go to a war or any type of a battle, I'm taking Derby people. There ain't no tougher people out there than anybody that's crazy enough to stay up and put themselves what we do to finish a car and do some of the things that we do to get cars back to the track. Those are the people that I want to be in every challenge of my life in. And there goes my arm hair again up through my shirt. But the day that we continue and start working more together, we're never going to be 100%, man. If we ever touch 80, Brian, I think maybe we do get some outside recognition and sponsors, and then the inside the core group doesn't have to sponsor each other, and just to make everything as cool as it is. Imagine, one of you said Advance Auto, or imagine when those people start taking notice. I said when because it continues to progress. Like, it either has to fall flat on its face or we have to get there one day, because it has progressed so much in my time Who knows what I kind of got off on a tangent there, but I fired up listening to Casey and listening to you guys talk about that.
Well, one of the new things, as you talked about the evolution of Demolition Derby and way things have changed and new things that come along that they get a lot of traction, a lot of support, as we talked about, was the Realistic Derby project and all of the stuff that goes with that, with the events and how much realism is packed into this video gaming experience. And, Brian's driven before, and you haven't even been on it with the latest updates for all the changes and stuff. It's amazing. Well, Mark has got some stuff going on here that is bridging things between the real world and the virtual world. Mark, do you want to share the news? Do you want me to do it? What do you want to do?
Why not? I wasn't sure if the opportunity would come, but I'll tell you what. I'll tell my real short story, and then I will let you speak because I would do it an injustice to speak on it. But so weeks ago, I want to give a shout out to Nick King and his crew. So we're talking virtual demolition derby, and I feel like everybody's doing it but me right now. So I have a app on my phone, and that's as far as I've got in virtual. But I do play that derby app on my phone. So no doubt that if I got the chance to do that, I would love it. But Nick, you just had an idea that, man, what about like a point series in this virtual world? Him and I think Joey and whoever, they started this group. It may be PJ, but they started this group. I guess you would call it a promotion company in the virtual world. And I just
JCM.
Man, openly on the air apologize to those guys, because I just, I guess I looked at it like I don't need one more thing on my mind, like. And maybe that's selfish, but that's just being real. Maybe he caught me at a time where I was about to lose it. I don't know, but I respectfully told him no. I've got mad love for those guys. They've always supported me. And fast forward a few weeks, and Chris Marquardt reaches out to me, and it's a similar conversation. But if Brian, I know you will understand this, but if anybody knows Chris Marquardt, he's coming in hot with spreadsheets and so it was the same idea and concept, but he came in a lot hotter, and whatever time that Chris caught me just a few days ago, he caught my interest. So what I did was I reached back out to Nick, and I kind of restarted that conversation, and together, just with short conversation and text, Nick and I agreed that if we were going to do something like this, Chris Marquardt, Crash Course, would be the exact type of guy to head it up. And so, Chris, thank you for making the bold move and reaching out to me. Thank you for the sales pitch that you gave me that I bought into. I'm as excited now as I was the night that we talked. A few days went by and you had to keep the pressure on me. I appreciate that. I need those type of people in my life, because I'm a busy dude and things just fall to the side sometimes. So kudos to you for keeping the pressure on me. And without further ado, I will let Chris speak on this, but my impression of what you are going to try to accomplish is to add the same type of value in the virtual sport of demolition derby that we see in real life in the Unified Point Series, and that is create a collective group of people working towards the same goal for the betterment of the sport. And the good times have continued to come in my world. So Chris, now why don't you give the more clear what you got going on?
I wish the video was working better so everybody could see how red Mark's face got. It's so after Mark was on the show, we were starting to get close to the rollout for the Crash Course Nationals 2, which will be Father's Day weekend in June, and it sold out in a collective 89 spots, sold out in a collective 3 minutes over the course of 4 days. And I got thinking a little bit more about how to get this together. Mark and I had a conversation last year leading into Crash Course Nationals 1 in September. And we couldn't get things to align the right way, but now since then there's been so much growth in the RDP game itself. You know, with Lee going out and doing some live stuff, and Smash It being involved, and Smith Weatherworks being involved, and Hardcore being involved as the title sponsor, and Jeffy's Fab Farm, just all these people in Demolition Derby getting more involved. I thought that it would probably be wise to try and get something together so that we could get the attention. There's all these servers. If Brian got online right now and said, I'm going to go Derby, he could jump into a server not knowing what it is, and it could be a great place to run, or it could be a really rough place to run. And what we're trying to do is just like what Mark does with the Unified Point Series in real life. We're taking and trying to showcase the superlative servers and what's good. And there's going to be ground rules for how those events happen in terms of continuity across the servers, but the servers still get to stay independent, just like the shows on Unified Point Series with the different rules. It's the same point structure. In order to get your Derby on the Unified Point Series, the virtual Unified Point Series, just like in real life, you have to pay a fee. It's $25. That money goes into a kitty so that the top point getters get a payout at the end of the year. I'm going to be overseeing the spreadsheet, because who doesn't love a spreadsheet? And Crash Course Nationals 2 and Crash Course Nationals 3 will most likely both be on the Unified Series, so that's really exciting. RDP's on board. JCN, sounds like JCN's on board. Prodigy Gaming is on board. I talked with Jesse Myers, and he felt that the best way to open up the invitations was any of the servers that got an invite to Blizzard Bash last year. They get the first crack at having 2 dates. The date has to be set ahead of time. It's going to help these promoters, these online server guys, instead of just having the pop-up shows, you get the better feel of how to plan, how to do inspections, how to promote something, how to make an event and draw attention. I think it's going to be really cool front to back. And I love this part of Demolition Derby anyway, the promotion, taking something that is just an idea in your head and building it into something huge down the line. My tax prep person disagrees. But it's I really think this is going to be turning into something good, and I explained all this stuff to Mark and said, I don't want you to do anything. I don't want you to be adding more to your plate, but I want you as involved as you want to be. And the biggest thing is, we're not going to make a joke out of this. This is going to be something special, and I thought it was important to get our hands on it and get ahead of it and turn it into something before somebody else did and ruined it. We went through the right channels. We talked to everybody that was going to be involved. We got permissions. There was conversations. There was emails. It was a group effort to put this thing together. And now I'm proud to say it's rolling out, and the intention is the first show to have it April 17th. So we're going to have the month of March for scheduling, so to say. And if we can get 35 shows, there's space on the schedule for it. It would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. Definitely. That's great to hear. I mean, like I said, anything that gets people more interested in Demolition Derby, from video games to RC cars to, kids with Smith Metalworks, it's better for us as a whole. Some people kind of snicker a little bit when they talk about the game, but I mean, I've played it. It's a blast. I just, I haven't lately for whatever reason, but Brett Rollier, he does it quite a bit and he loves it. He has a great time doing it. Strangely enough, he's good at computer derbying too. But it's just another positive for the derby world. It really is. Having so many great names associated with it. And we Chris mentioned a bunch of the sponsors. It's great that they're stepping up to help all sorts of derbying. So it can only get better.
Awesome. I think that Mark was asking about Josh Durso a minute ago. Josh Durso just logged into his Zoom account and kicked us out. So
I was wondering why you called me. So hey, improvise and overcome.
That's right.
That's Chris Marquardt. It's still not as bad as spring. It's the Nationals, Keystone National. No, it wasn't. Spring Explosion, or whatever they called it, when they were just finishing the national anthem, and Chris goes, and we're live! And for those, I don't know how long the national anthem, 5 minutes maybe, 4 minutes?
It was, no, I mean, Melanie was singing.
Yes.
So it wasn't, I'm not picking on her. It was thankfully a little bit longer than it needed to be, but I was thrilled.
We Chris accomplished great things in those 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah. That's gonna be all kinds of jokes in live chat now. Mark, go ahead.
I've been in some pretty sticky space. I do think about, and are you still there?
I am, yeah. Yep, go ahead.
I do think about you, and you do inspire us to stay calm in those situations, because things come to pass or you figure out a different way. And so kudos to you for whether you've learned that in life or whether that's a gift that you've been given. It has inspired me to just deep breath it out in those situations sometimes. And it seems like you always get to a better place. But you guys, man, you pointed out so many good things about the virtual. You know, NASCAR, I mean, they play simulators, right?
Yep.
And it's no crap. I mean, when I ran River City Rampage, I hadn't derbied in like 8 or 9 years. I mean, I was a wreck, thinking like, man, I hope you hope you still remember how to ride that bike. But I talked about that Derby app on my phone. I mean, I can promise you, I play that more than I would ever admit, and I can promise you that I didn't do a whole lot different at River City Rampage than I do in that game. I mean, it's derbying. It's you make the good shots. You drive the things that Casey talked about that they're going to teach in their program. I mean, those are all key factors, and the success in the sport, whether you're out there to make the crowd cheer or whether you're to cash the check, or both.
That's wait till you get to the expo and see that game in person and all the tunability that comes in the cars and the way they deform and what you got to do in terms of keeping your head on a swivel and knowing what to do in terms of driving the car. And the only benefit, the only difference is you're orbital, you're above the car, so you can actually see how bad the back end is or how bad the front end is. Inside the car, you can't always see that stuff. But.
Well, the true benefit is that very little money comes out of your pocket.
Yeah.
That's the true benefit, let's be honest. But the other stuff Chris mentioned was good, but the fact that it doesn't cost you much to do it, that's the true benefit. Let's be honest.
Well,
I'm excited. Again, I can't stress kudos and thank you to you for being persistent and bringing a good sales pitch. And, I'm excited. You know, the excitement for me is when you say I don't have to do much, I'm in. And
perfect.
The excitement for me is I've always talked about how much I love our logo, and so grateful to Klein Designs, to Derby Tees for the logo that they created is something that I'm so personally proud of. And just the thought of putting that into the way Casey put it, a different demographic. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it just, we're gonna come with that logo. We're gonna put a little twist on it for Chris and make sure it's a legible, that it's the virtual. Just to hear how fired up you are about it makes me fired up about it, and I don't know anything about it. When I talked to King again today and kind of shared with him that, like, you got me a little fired up about it, he started telling me stuff. It sounds like they just came off some type of big team show win he was super excited about. And, to Brian's point, like, they were at home, sitting at the chair or the desk and they won a few $100 just doing something that's fun. We could be doing so many worse things. Sitting on a couch eating a bag of potatoes. Maybe you can eat the potato chips while you're playing the game. I don't know, but
nope.
So many worse things that our sport, the people in our sport could be doing so many worse things in life. We get a lot of rap about the money that we spend and to go out there and tear it up, but it's about so much more than that. And the more people that we kind of paint that picture for, I just think the more the sport will grow.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Mark, and we appreciate the opportunity to collaborate on this. I got to get you a Discord account so that you come and announce a couple derbies with us.
Yeah, I'm in. Like, what? You just have to let me know. We'll see if my laptop can handle it, and I'll I'll go out there. Or maybe 410 is going to be my debut, you know. And Casey, like, where's Mark? I need an announcement made. Where's Mark? There's no music. And I'm over there playing that game.
Nothing wrong with that.
That'd be awesome.
Cool.
Well, Mark, man, I appreciate you. Apologize for all the challenges tonight, but we got there. We got the information out. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. Glad you're back tonight, Brian. It's always a pleasure, you guys. Thank you, guys.
We'll
Have a good one, Mark.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yep. Take care.
See you.
Bye.
There goes Mark Elliott for the second or third time tonight.
Got to take care of it. That's all that matters.
Challenges. Man, there's a lot of times when I think back to that night. It was the spring showdown or the shootout or something. It got moved because of weather. Remember we were down there and it rained and it got shuffled to July 11th, like 2 weeks before the Keystone Nationals.
Mm-hmm.
And man, sitting there and the whole house of cards.
Yeah, because everything we did a pre-show and that worked beautifully.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, everything quit working.
Everything.
Because we were talking along, and all of a sudden, you quit talking, and we're like, "What's going on?" You're like, and like we're like, "Can we?" And you're like, "No, just stand back, just let me." And literally, Mel finish, and you were like, "And we're live from." Whatever, it was one of Bo's shows.
Yeah, it was the Jefferson County Fairgrounds in Brookville, but it was the show that they had scheduled in the spring.
Yeah.
It ended up getting pushed into July. I remember when that went down, I think it was our streaming platform did a push update.
Yes.
And it kicked everything off, which meant that all the links had been, because we're already streaming to it, means all the links had to be redone. It's not like this persistent stuff you can do with Facebook and YouTube now. Everything had to be all redone. And
our tech department handled it amazingly.
You know, Mark says, you know, is it a gift or what is it? It's if I'm the only one that's stressed, I'll get really, really stressed. But if I know other people are counting on this thing working, I can kind of channel that in and just dial in. And there's been a couple times where, like, Josh was there, and he's, you know, asking to help, and he means well, or you'll ask to help, or Ben would ask to help. And if I ever answered shortly, it's because we don't have time for me to explain how to help this.
It's broken and I'm fixing it.
What I need you to do is just stand back.
Yeah, and that was fine. It all worked out in the end.
Yep. Look at that. Vito's checking in. Ryan Devroy. Scott Kiefer says the hits don't hurt either.
Yeah, that too.
Awesome. Well, Scott says be careful. It's getting windy out there. I guess.
Oh yeah, I had coming down here tonight. There was a couple blow across on 414. And
snow or just wind?
Yeah, snow.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going fast, but all of a sudden my truck was pointing into the other lane. I'm like, whoa! So I let back off, and I didn't really step on it, and I continued going and did the same thing again. I got pretty good tires on my truck, and it got nasty. So, yeah, if anybody's out and about in central New York tonight, take it easy.
I had the minivan, and I think
crashed it. Hard to believe.
No, not that time.
Oh.
Close. And I hadn't been. Oh no, it was the Avenger. It was the Avenger, and I was working at Lakeland Equipment on 31, and there was a blowover, and I was already going faster than I should have because
you're Chris Marquardt.
Yeah, I'm Chris Earnhardt, and I saw it coming, and I kind of rolled out of the gas just to kind of see what happened, and the car went sideways, and it slid a little ways, and I'm like fighting everything in me to not grab that steering wheel, so just coast, and then it caught the concrete, and it jerked it like that, and I'm like, all right, now that I know we can survive it, we should probably do it again.
So for the age of 16 to almost whatever age you are now,
yeah,
of all the vehicles that you've owned and driven on the road, how many have you not wrecked?
So let's define wrecked. I didn't wreck the Blazer. That I traded in on the Beretta. I didn't wreck the Beretta.
But
the motor blew up in the day after I paid it off.
Ooh.
I paid that off, and I was coming home from school out of Canandaigua, and I got on the thruway, and all of a sudden the dash lit up like a Christmas tree. And it's like, I'm no mechanic, but that's bad.
True.
And it.
So there's two cars you didn't wreck.
Well, back that up a second, because I was coming home from the Finger Lakes Times, and they were backing a boat in front of Hidden Harbor between the two knolls. Well, why the heck do you put a driveway between? Anyway, so traffic had stopped, and I stopped, and I looked in the rearview mirror, and there was a Chevy bow tie that was this big. So I kind of steered towards the opposite lane, and he hit the back taillight so hard that the whole taillight bucket pushed into the trunk, and it didn't blow the bulb.
Really?
Yeah, that was cool. That was that was interesting. There were some wrinkles in the roof line of that, but they swore that those were already there from when they put the sunroof in.
Oh,
that was the fastest car I ever owned.
Beretta?
Mm-hmm. Monte Carlo, I had to put a hood and a fender on. One of the Magnums, I took the nose off it in the snow. The Avenger, that was my first deer. That was a big doe. It kind of shoulder blocked the headlight and shoved the whole front end over, and I didn't know what I hit. But then all of a sudden there was this huge crash, because when she hit it, it sheared the hinge or the latch off of the front, so the windshield came back over the
hood.
The hood came back over and smashed the windshield, so I couldn't see out. Well, the deer hit, and it went up into the air, and it landed on the engine and rolled off. So there was like the second impact when it landed on top of the block, and I didn't. It all happened in slow motion. It just happened so fast. That one, the deer died right away, but the trooper didn't know it. And when the trooper came on the scene, I had the deer in a sleeper hold, standing over the top of it, and I was shouting, "Quit resisting! Citizen's arrest!" Trooper didn't find the humor in that at all.
A little grumpy, huh?
Yeah.
Sometimes they do that.
He said, "How fast were you going?" And I said, "Fast enough that the deer couldn't get across the road." So there was that, and then I got the deer with the minivan coming home on Memorial Day. That sucked. I loved that van. That thing. We had
some good times with that van.
So the van, they totaled that, and then I got the silver Lincoln, and I got 2 deer at one time with that. That was almost 6 months to the day later.
This is why Chris Marquardt doesn't drive when I go with him.
And then I think all this stuff is circumstantial. But
yeah. I got to tell you, when we were going to Bash the one time when your hat blew out the window, you knew I was laughing hard, but I laughed so hard I almost passed out. Stuff started going dark. And at that point, we were running fast with a lot of cars around us.
There was no cars around us, and that was the prototype hat. That was the first one.
There was a lot of cars around us.
There was an 18-wheeler that took care of that hat. I would have just pulled over on the shoulder and walked backwards. I would have back and got the hat, and we'd have been fine. But you were too busy howling like a hyena. And then the yellow Lincoln, the airbags and the coil, and there was something else. The airbags, the coil, and the air conditioner, all within 5 minutes, going to summer school, and that has brought us to the journey. Ironic. It's named Journey after the long road that brought us here.
Philosophy 101, Chris Marquardt. Yes. What do you think?
I think we've covered a lot of bases. Boy, we got some traction going tonight. I imagine that I got a lot of messages right now. Yep. Stuff that's outside of the live chat about this this Unified Points thing, which is awesome. I'm very excited, very fortunate that Mark was willing to give us the chance and do what I believe is do it the right way and make it something special. So with that said, we'll be back here again next week. Hopefully we have as much fun. Thanks so much for the stars and for the mentions. And the Scott Kiefer says, "I'm the backstrap assassin." Here's the thing. After I hit a deer, there's nothing left but fur.
Yeah, that's not good.
There's nothing to harvest.
You at least got to get a little bit of something out of it to bring home meat.
When I hit the 2 deer with the 2000 Lincoln, the sheriff had that idea. After he checked and made sure, report, blah, 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 he went back to go get one of the deer. And I saw him grab the deer and then go back and kick the rest, the front half, back over the shoulder of the road. He looked really disappointed.
Yeah.
He couldn't even get any backstrap on.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yep. Yeah,
I had one of the 76 New Yorker ones.
It probably just
There was a herd, so I just picked the smaller of the ones coming through and
hit the soft one.
Yeah, and all it did was break the fiberglass on the whatchamacallit, header panel.
Yeah. That was my guess. That's all it would have done.
Yeah.
I bet it did. The headlight alone weighs 25 pounds.
At least. Yeah. Didn't dent the pointy on it either.
Oh, I'm sure it didn't. Can you imagine inverting the? Never mind. That's it. We're done.
Right.
We will see everybody again next time. Thanks for tuning in. That's it for number 345. We'll see you next Monday.
Oh, good gracious.
The Crash Course Live is presented by Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com. Reckless Abandoned Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.